Oh, come on, don't go in the pond. Found myself a little nook and a little cranny. I'm going for the nook. Come on, come on. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. I found myself a nice little quiet corner. Well, I say quiet, it's obviously a little bit noisy from the pond, but it's a shady area, and that's hard to find today. It's incredibly stifling. Today is episode 4 of From All Angles, and of course we are reviewing the entire house of Angelos Creations Olfactives. Myself, Scott and John are bringing you all the fragrances from every angle, one per episode, and today we are doing Tobacco Libre. So as evident from the title, Tobacco Libre is a celebration of tobacco, and I can certainly vouch for that in the scent. This is a big, hearty tobacco fragrance. So much like so many of Angelos' creations, there are so many notes and materials used. It's everything but the kitchen sink. And much like the others, it becomes this very thick and hearty, complex fragrance. So Tobacco Libre is offered as a 15% concentration, and rather than me talking about all the notes, here we go. So you can see there are endless, boundless supply of materials in here, and they all are natural and absolutely stunning. And they each play a part in creating this vortex and depth of character that all plays around the note of tobacco. Now it opens actually quite green and quite bitter. I get a lot of the coffee, I get a lot of the saffron tincture. Those tobacco leaves in the opening are quite prominent, and it is very much a fresh tobacco. There's kind of a tang in here. I get this idea of olives in pickle, I don't know why. But also I get the tobacco, but definitely a bit of booze surrounding it. So it's already opening up quite strong and heavy. As that settles down, it really does smooth out. Definitely getting a very smooth, I won't go as far as say sweet, but a mellow lift from plum, and it is very beautifully done in here. And that plum is, I would say, the perfect fruit to keep this quite mellow but kind of sexy. All the notes in this fragrance are rich and deep and gruff and rustic and very natural smelling. They have so much character. They are, like I said, they're very dark, deep notes. There's even a mushroom absolute in here. There's almost a balmy feel to it. I mean, the actual liquid is very thick. It's this thick yellow oil, and it does sort of look like that when you spray it. There's a real substance to this, and this fragrance itself has a lot of weight and substance to it. There's something so smooth running through all these dark, gritty notes, and I think it's the Osmanthus Absolute trying to tone everything down. And what was, in the opening, this incredibly dense, rustic, almost primitive in a sexy kind of way, a weighty character, almost like the idea of tar. It feels like this black, rich tar that has this level of interest in it. It smooths out so much that what was rustic becomes kind of regal. Such an elegant play amongst the notes. It's the blending and the smoothing which creates this rounded fragrance. In the air around me, and probably in the sillage as well, if I move around, I'm still getting an echo of the opening. So I'm getting an echo of that green, tangy, bitter, but very weighty scent. Yeah, like the tobacco is mossy, it's green. It seems to get thicker and darker as the scent moves on. So it's like this journey of tobacco. Now, although this is not a fragrance I personally would wear, I think it's very sexy, I think it's very alluring, I think it's very attractive, roguish kind of way. Final and lingering fragrance of Tobacco Libre is very balmy, but actually quite elegant. I'm left with quite a smooth ribbon of boozy plum and smooth tobacco. And that is Tobacco Libre. That is how it is for me, at least. Be interested to see what Scott thinks, because we both seem to wear fragrance in a very similar ways. As for John, well, it's a lost cause, because we're just yin and yang, and what is sweet on me is sour on him, what is powdery on me is sharp on him, and vice versa. But of course, always interested to hear his thoughts on fragrance. So that is my little segment. Johnny's up next, so I will hand you over now to the man himself. Thanks guys, over to you.
So thanks, Lizzie Bet. That was an interesting take on what you just smelt. So what about me? What did I kind of get from this beautiful fragrance from Angelos? So yeah, what I'm going to do is we'll go through basically what I got from it, and then we'll go through what Lizzie said. So for me, this opens with a kind of huge blast of spice, pepper, cardamom, and obviously the boozy notes and the tobacco just start to eke through as it settles. The patchouli, there is like a tiny kind of hint of cypriol, giving it that kind of dank, dark greenness that it does. But really, there's not a whole lot of that, and obviously the base is quite woody. There is an awful lot going on, to be fair, but it's mainly you get like a dry tobacco, as well as like a thick, sticky, moist tobacco. And it gets gradually more kind of darker and denser, and more about the tobacco. The booziness kind of comes and goes, and I think the way the tobacco mixes with the more resinous notes gives it a slight kind of licoricey hint. It is very nice. Really, because it's so well blended together, it's quite hard to pick out the more specific things. But after a few hours, really, it's kind of this gorgeous dark tobacco and woodiness. And like Lizzie said, it's very classy, very elegant, very sophisticated. But basically, to me, it's all about the tobacco. Tobacco and kind of boozy notes to me kind of can cross over because of the association with each other. But yeah, it's this beautiful, mature, but I'm not saying that's like an old man scent, but mature tobacco fragrance. So that's basically it in a nutshell for me. As far as what Lizzie said, she picked out a lot more than I did from it actually. I see, much better nose than me. I didn't get really any osmanthus, or there's no kind of peachy sharpness or anything like that in it for me. But again, that's mainly probably because I focused on the more darker notes. The plum, again, apart from the slight boozy feel, not much of a kind of fruity element, even a dark fruity element for me. But again, that's just down to interpretation, isn't it? And the greenness Lizzie got. Apart from the cypriol, I didn't really pick out any greenness, any pickled olives or anything like that. I mean, again, to be fair, I didn't really notice the patchouli too much throughout it, so it's possible it was there. So yeah, I like that Lizzie got a much kind of greener touch than me. But yeah, anyway, I really like this. I really did. I think it's completely an inappropriate season to wear it, but it is a very sophisticated, well blended, beautiful, classy tobacco. It's like a lot of Angelos' creations. It's that mixture of modern and a more classic one. But I think the depth and the darkness brings it to being a much more modern thing. Just because I couldn't pick out the little nuances that Lizzie did doesn't mean they're not there. I just saw it as a very, yeah, just tobacco with the other nuances here and there. But again, I suppose it depends on skin and the weather and whatnot. But all in all, I think this was a brilliant fragrance. So now on to Scott, the Centurion, and let's see what Scott says. More likely to agree with Lizzie than me, but let's see. Right, Scott, over to you.
Right, well, thank you, Lizzie and John. It's my turn. Now, before I go on to what I'm getting out of this fragrance, my partner has picked the next one. So, the next one is, picked out the wrong one, is Dance Lascive. I don't know if I've pronounced that right or wrong or whatever, but that is the next one anyway. For this one, from Angelos Creations Olfactives, it's Tabac Libre, and absolutely fantastic fragrance. Now, if I can get the lid off, I've been wearing it quite a few times now to get an idea of what it's like. Now, it starts, what I will say is it says 15% concentration. Now, it smells a lot more than that, a lot more. Now, instantly, what I get from this Now, instead of, I think Lizzie has mentioned that she gets a green element from this. I don't get any greenness, and I think John did as well. I don't get any greenness from it. What I do get is a massive hit of patchouli and maybe a little bit of vetiver, or a woody type of scent there, and that huge plum note. Absolutely gorgeous. Now the plum, it's sort of in my head, I've got like the creation of Palenka going on, the plum brandy. Not so much the finished product, but how the plums would be stewed and what have you. And that's what I get, this real deep plummy fragrance. The tobacco comes in a few minutes later, but this is what I get. It's very, very strong and resinous and sticky almost. And it does change slightly as it goes on. I will get to that in a second. So I get a slight earthiness to it. There's a spiciness to it. And later on, I get a little bit of sharpness. Now I'd imagine that's coming from the violet in this, but the main notes to me is this very prominent tobacco and plum. And I can almost imagine someone who's creating the drink Palenka, who's made a small batch himself, he's got it bottled up. So you got the aroma of all of the plum juice that's ready for the fermentation and everything. And he's so pleased with himself, and he pulls out the biggest cigar and he sniffs the cigar and that fresh tobacco leaf. That is what I'm getting from this. So it's like the plum and the tobacco, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Now it smooths out as it goes on. It still retains that same smell, but it smooths out. And if anything, it does get slightly darker, although it's gone like a treacle type of consistency, but it is absolutely fantastic and I love it. There's really not a great, there's loads and loads and loads of notes in this, and I can't really pull any of them out individually other than the violet, the plum, and like the alcohol note. I think there's rum in here as well, which is probably why I get like that Palenka idea from. They're the only notes I can really pick out, but obviously the other notes are playing their part as well to make such a gorgeous fragrance. But that is Ombre Tabac Libre, sorry, wrong one. And yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So I'll leave all the links in the description. So if you did like the video, please like, comment and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And yeah, it's goodbye from us. We will see you in the next one. Thank you very much.